Yo, what's going on, man? Today is August the 17th, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA slash WNBA slash NFL show. I told you guys I was finally going to do start looking forward to some of the NFL and start putting out some NFL content. I did go through the AFC West yesterday. If anybody interested in that video, it is I did the show live around like 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, something like that. So if you guys are interested in some NFL content, definitely go check that out. The AFC West, I think, is going to be pretty lopsided, but I think we got two good bets, to kind of round out that division. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. But I'm your host, Chris. I like to say this at the beginning of the show, but it's a pretty laid-back sports betting show where we cover, like I said, WNBA, NBA, and NFL as well. The goal is just to provide some helpful information, share whatever it is that helps us cash tickets, and be profitable sports bettors. So I want to give a quick shout out to OddsJam as always. They sponsor the show. Best sports betting software on the planet, in my opinion. I always talk about you guys being able to use code CBC to get 20% off your first month. The link for that is in the description. Also want to shout out moneyballer.com. Coupon code to get 10% off your first month as well over there on moneyballer.com using code ChrisBeCappinn with 2 P's and 2 N's. It's just a wonderful site. I'll eventually start to use it on the show, but definitely wanted to link those real quick as well. And also real quick before we get started, before I go through the comments and we jump into a quick recap, I want to shout out Helms. Helms came in yesterday. Really liked the Seattle first half -3.5, dropping dimes as well. Shout out to both of those guys. And Marina Mabry, shout out to Peasy. He came in and talked about, if you guys watched the show yesterday, the short list yesterday, just by talking the games out on the show, went 4-1. Well, of course, a couple of those plays were mine as well. Diana Taurasi under her 14.5 points was mine. That was the only loser. Indiana team total over 88.5. I didn't even get there. That was a winner. Dallas, Connecticut, and Dallas to go up and over the total. The total ended up dropping. It still was a winner. And then Peasy, like I said, gave out Marina Mabry, and I pondered on it for a long time on the show. If you guys went back and listened to it, and then still just didn't end up locking it in. But what better matchup to have than the Dallas Wings in your first game with your new team? Their defense is absolutely the worst in the WNBA, even with Satu being back. So 4-1 yesterday. If you tell the plays that were on the short list, I ended up going Seattle first half full game. Smaller play, which was the only loser that I gave out. I did end up taking Seattle -3.5 as well. That was a winner, the bigger play. And then Connecticut, Dallas, the total ended up dropping from 162 down to 159.5, and that was a non-sweat winner as well. So we make a little bit of money yesterday and get back on the right track after going 0-2 on the first day with WNBA returning. So we'll go through a couple of the comments real quick, and then we'll jump into the 3 games that we have on the board for today. Also probably doing an NFL video today as well. I just don't have them planned as precisely as I probably should. So let's go through the comments real quick. Shout out to Kilo for being in here early this morning. We were kind of going back and forth. Mark says, good morning, Chris, in the community. Nice bounce back yesterday. Let's keep it going. Absolutely. Shout out to my guy, Justin, always in here rocking with me. True Sister says, I'm so off of Seattle forever. Yeah, you can't. That's the way the W works, though, man. Like if you're looking for short-term success, the W might not be the place to bet because it can get a little difficult to win bets sometimes, and to trust these teams. But you just kind of got to go with your gut when I'm thinking about the WNBA for sure. I thought that Seattle was the right side yesterday for the full game, but yeah, they laid an egg yesterday. Also on the show, and this is I want to address this real quick. I just want to make sure I say this. So if you're a member, right, which a lot of people watch the show, not members, but a lot of the members do watch the show as well. Dropping Dimes always in here, Mark always in here, Justin always in here. A bunch of people, come through. I do this show early in the morning. I might not give out a play until 45 minutes before the game, just because of the injury implications. On Thursday we lost because, in my opinion, I wouldn't took the Chicago Sky +3.5 if I knew Kennedy Carter wasn't going to play. So I will be giving out plays a little bit later because, as you see, like even with the game yesterday, Jordan Canada coming back, she was on the injury report and wasn't supposed to play, and she ended up being ruled in. Ryan Howard drops a 30 ball yesterday on Seattle head. And of course, they ended up, getting a win as I think, a 8.5, 7.5 point dog yesterday. But Jordan Canada absolutely helped. I think she had 8 dimes last night. So, just something to kind of take into consideration. I think Seattle got the fever up next. That's going to be a really good game. Christian says, still think the Mystics first half is good to go. We'll see. We'll talk about it in a second, but I couldn't talk you off. Dropping Dime says, I'm glad I played Seattle first half and left the full game alone. Absolutely. He says, and does this mean we take Storm -2 tomorrow against Indy? We'll talk about that game when we get there, Dropping Dimes. I got to look a little bit deeper into it. What up, Chad? My guy, he says the Wings cost him his sweep last night. I'm glad I played the total and stayed away because I was thinking Wings +6 as well. Christian says Liberty money line. Good look, y'all think? We'll talk about it. What's up, Juan? Appreciate you for tapping in all the way from the Philippines. He said got 2-1 yesterday. Same. What up? Justin upset about the Wings. PZ says top of the morning gang. Marina Mabry over the 12.5. She's looking really good on her new team. Yeah, it was cooking yesterday, man. That was the first time the Sun had scored that many points all season. I think they went up and over 100 last night. So yeah, shout out to Marina Mabry. She looked really, really good. Definitely did. Chad says, think they're a full-blown tank mode now. Hardest schedule and would need 12-3 realistically to make the playoffs. Not happening. Probably talking about the Washington Mystics. Yeah, I think they cooked. They're probably just getting ready for the draft, in my opinion. Jay Sean looking at something I was looking at. He says Liberty team total over 84.5. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Likes to scout on the money line. We'll talk about that. What up, Ball Talk? Good morning to you as well, Sarah. Young man Travel says he went 3-1 yesterday. Great picks. Love it. Love to hear that. Let's see. Let's get into the games. What up, Derek? Shout out to my guy Derek in the comments. Says, good morning, Chris. Happy I found my way back. Appreciate the work as always. And I appreciate you tapping in, Derek, for sure, bro. Danny Park says that Wings defense was the worst I've ever seen. My local rec league was on a better defensive unit than that. Yeah, and they play fast, so it don't help any either. I'm right there with you. Let's jump into the games. I'm trying to get through all the comments. What up, Chaz? Cup of Joe in here as well. 110. My fault, Chad. I'm underselling them. Yeah, that Wings. If you go back and listen, I said that Wings defense is terrible. I didn't think the Connecticut Sun would look that good with Marina Mabry, but yeah, it was, whatever you wanted yesterday. It was a buffet yesterday. They can't guard anybody. Let's jump into it for today, man. I haven't made any bets yet. Really just wanted to kind of talk about with you guys, kind of share some notes and a couple ways that I'm looking. Just haven't locked anything quite yet. So I'm going to take a sip of water and then we're going to get started with the 3 games that we got on the board for today. All right, let's jump right into it. So first game up, we have we got a rematch of Thursday night. We got the Minnesota Lynx and the Washington Mystics. This line was at 6 about an hour ago when I made the graphics. Yeah, it's still at 6. Total 156.5. Looks like it's consensus on all books as well. So yeah, let's jump into it. Of course, this is a rematch of the games that just happened, and the injury report is about the same. Is the exact same as it was the other day as well. The Mystics got Shakira Austin and Brittany Sykes and Carly Samuelson back from injury, and they all played. I can't remember exactly how many minutes, but they played deep into the game. Like they played a little bit more minutes than I thought that they did. I thought that they would, in that game. So that's great for the Washington Mystics. I think they and it's also good. Last thing I wanted to mention real quick, just about them and their return, it's also good that that nobody popped up on the injury report, because we know Tibbs is like Coach Thibodeau is like he's very cautious with his players, and I know he doesn't want to like see an injury to anybody, especially this late into the season. And this team is 6-20; they're not going to make the playoffs anyway. So I love that Brittany Sykes had 22 minutes, Shakira Austin had 20 minutes, and she said after the game that she felt like her normal self. She had 9 points and 10 rebounds in that game. Somebody in the comment section of the game of the chat on Thursday shouted out Shakira Austin to go up and over her rebound total. I think it was at 6.5. I think that's an interesting play here for a couple of different reasons. Before I'm just thinking out loud right now. A couple of different reasons. First and foremost, let's see if I can find it real quick. First and foremost, I think her minutes are gonna go up, a little bit more. She said she felt good. She played the fewest minutes out of any of the starters. So, getting Shakira Austin, let's see what her rebounds prop is today. 6.5 minus 140. So you can still get the 6.5. Of course, there's a little bit more juice. But minus 140 over on DraftKings. This looks like is the best number for her. Yeah, I like that. I like Shakira Austin a lot. I'm gonna write her down. I hadn't even thought too much about that. Shakira Austin. Well, I had thought about it, but I didn't write it in my notes. Shakira Austin, over 6.5 rebounds. So I'm expecting her minutes to go up. The other thing about these two teams specifically when they match up, the Lynx are one of the better defensive teams in the WNBA. So you do expect some misses to be there. Shakira Austin grabbed 3 offensive rebounds. Then the Lynx aren't the greatest defensive rebounding team in the WNBA. And these games go under for whatever reason. When I was looking into this game, and let me transition to the next graphic. But when I was looking into these games, the one thing that kind of jumped out to me is this will be the 3rd matchup of the season, of course. The last 4 matchups have all gone under. Unders lead to more rebounds. All the last 4 games have actually gone under the total, including Thursday's game. In fact, in the last 8 times that they've played each other, 7 of the last 8 games have actually gone under in the head-to-head matchup. So, Lynx got a lot more to play for than the Mystics. The Mystics will want to put on a show for their fans, I think, especially early in the game. And I couldn't talk anybody off looking at the Mystics early. I mean, we know what the Mystics do, man. This is one of the best first half team in the WNBA. They are 18-6-2 against the number 8-2-1 as a home dog as well. So yeah, I couldn't talk anybody off looking at the Mystics first half if you wanted to play that. But one thing I thought was interesting in this game, and this was the one dog that, in my opinion, should have covered on Thursday, is that the longer the game goes on, in my opinion, the more it favors Minnesota. And that's because Brittany Sykes hasn't played but one basketball game since June 11th, I want to say, was her injury. And the same thing for Shakira Austin. So you see, watch the Mystics team really run out of gas. I think that's the way I kind of see the Washington Mystics in the foreseeable future. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. I know I talked a lot. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Minnesota also have the Aces on deck next. I think that game's not until like Wednesday, so they got plenty of time. But they do got a game against the Aces, and yeah, those are really my thoughts. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Like I said, couldn't talk anybody off Aces. Looking at Washington Mystics early. They did cover that first half the other day as well. Let's see. Justice says he likes Brittany Sykes over 12.5 points. He put that in his pocket at plus 100. So Brittany Sykes had what did she have in the last game? She had 11 in 22 minutes, and she only shot 4 for 12. 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Okay. I hope you cash it, Justin. Hope you cash it, bro. Danny says Shakira Austin plays angry. Yeah, she did get that tech the other day. She was a little fired up, man. I love Shakira Austin. Dropping Dime says he's going with Shakira Austin double at plus 525. And she missed it by a point last game. Shot 4 for 9 from the field, which is, I think, 44%. So she didn't shoot the ball bad. And if you expected to play a few more minutes today, I could not talk you off. You just needed to go down there, continue to rebound the ball well. And then, just make another shot. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see what the best number. That's a nice, as my guy Dream would say, that's a nice little blunt money bet. I wouldn't go full unit, but yeah, I couldn't talk you off. Shakira at plus 525. I mean, it's coming eventually. Yeah, plus 525 for Shakira Austin double. I like that. I like that a lot. Dropping down. So I'm gonna write that down. Shakira Austin double. Plus 525 is on Bet365 too for people that are interested in Shakira Austin wanting a long shot. Not that it's gonna happen. Don't go too crazy. Bet your card note on it or anything. But yeah, I can see that. I like that. Appreciate you dropping down. So Shakira Austin, Derek says Mystics in the Lynx first quarter over 39.5 or 40. He says Washington is second in points per game at home at 23, and that's a fact. That's why they cover, because they typically can score. The Lynx, number one in points per game on the road at 24 points per game in the first quarter. We know the story with the Mystics at this point. Start strong, fade late. Lynx consistently come out strong on the road. I couldn't talk you off. And just reading this really quickly makes me think. I know sometimes you can get these. You can get second half spreads. It makes me think. I wonder what the second half spread is for the Minnesota Lynx before the game starts. The Lynx are -2.5 in the second half. We do expect to watch the Mystics to come out, throw the first punches. They always do, cover the spread. This Minnesota Lynx second half, it looked like it's only available right now on Caesars. And this is why I like talking it out with you guys. But I like Minnesota second half as well. I think that could potentially be the look. Minnesota Lynx. Second half spread -2.5. So just for them to, win the second half by 3 points, no matter what happens in the first half, I like that look early as well. Because if the Mystics are, winning at halftime or they cover the first half, you'll get a much larger line for the Lynx to, they'll be -4.5, -5, in my opinion, in the second half if they are losing at halftime. Let's see. Young man Travel says you already know Mystics first half, so he's going back to the well. Derek says the Mystics are 4-1 straight up in the first half, last 5, versus the Aces twice, the Phoenix Mercury and the Connecticut Sun. I do remember the Phoenix Mercury. That's the game I went to. He says the only L came against Dallas, and I remember. I vividly remember that. Danny says, man, if the Mystics didn't go 0 for $1 million in the last 5 minutes with how emotional they played, man, they could have won that game outright. Do they play better at home? They do play better at home. One thing I looked at was, let's see real quick before we move on to the next game. The Mystics are, like I said, 8-2 first half at home against the number at home. As far as for the full game, they are 16-9-1 against the number at home. So they have been a much better home team. The little bit of caution that I have with the Mystics is that we'll probably start to see them play a little bit differently. Not that it'll be a bad thing, but I don't think we'll see as many 3-point shots. Potentially fading Ariel Atkins just because Brittany Sykes comes back, Shakira Austin comes back. Like, they won't need her to do as much. I think Stephanie Dawson will continue to get her looks because Brittany Sykes' penetration will be there. And I think most teams going to play Shakira Austin one-on-one. So it just depends on what defender she has on her. But I think, you'll start to see some of those other players not, play as many minutes, like Yvonne Liu off the bench, in my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Cup of Joe says, I still like Elena Smith over her points as well. Hope you catch that. Justin says he's definitely going to tail on that Shakira Austin double-double. PZ says he's back to the well with Mystics in the first half. Couldn't talk you off. Sounds like that's the play for sure. And just to put a number to it, the Mystics are probably like a +2.5, +3 is what I would think in the first half. So you need them to, just kind of keep it real close. Probably a possession. Let's see what the best first half number is while that's loading. What up, Bruce? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, bro. He says he likes fee under 32.5 PRA today at -122. You can get a 3.5 with Washington on DraftKings right now. Best number available, 3.5. Most books got a 3. DraftKings got a 3.5 at -110. ESPN Bet got a 3.5 at -125. Bet MGM got a 3.5 at -115. Looks like the other books have a +3. So definitely grab that 3.5. You want every point that you can get if you do want the Mystics first half. And that's the way I would be looking as well. Just don't have it in my pocket quite yet. We'll see how it goes. This is a 2 o'clock start time, 2 o'clock Eastern start time. What up to my guy Helms? Appreciate you for tapping back in as always, Holmes. Yeah, definitely gave you a shout out, Helms, for that Seattle first half yesterday. Appreciate you for tapping in and joining that. What up, GB Bet? Says first time joining the show. Appreciate you for tapping in. What up, She? He says morning, Chris in the chat. Like the Lynx for a game again. I don't know about covering though. I think the Lynx could potentially cover the game, man. I know the spread's a little bit lower, but it'll be a good bet. A live betting opportunity in my opinion. I will be watching this game, so we'll see what happens. Let's see. Keep the points. Take Washington first half on the money line. Plus 180, Derek says. Plus 180 to plus 185. So he thinks that they are winning at halftime, and I could see that. Could definitely see that. What up, Midnight Toker? Solo says, good morning, all. I'm going to the game. I'm taking the Mystics on the money line. Ooh, full game, Solo, or just the first half? I wish I'm low-key hating, a little salty, because when I was in DC, I didn't get to see Shakir Austin and Benny Sykes. I don't think Carly Simpson was in that game either. The Mystics still ended up having the first half lead, a month and a half ago now, when I went to the game. So enjoy it, bro. I hope you enjoy it, man. Definitely enjoy it. Helm says Mystics are better at home. No bets for me in this one. Solo says he's taking the full game. Okay. Best of luck, Solo. I hope you cash it, bro. Like I said, I don't have a bet in the game yet, but if I had anything, it'd be watching the first half. Love that look given out by dropping dimes with Shakir Austin. I also like her rebounds at 6.5 minus 140, but her double at plus 525. I gotta put a little something down on it. It won't be a heavy bet, of course, but I like that a lot. And I think those are what I'm thinking about the game, about that one. Let's move on to the next one. We got I won't say probably the best game of the day will, in my opinion, be the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces line. Open 2.5, 3. Total had went up this morning. So the total opened like 173.5, I think is what the number was. This total had went all the way up to 175 this morning. I don't think I saw it touch 175.5 when I was making the graphics. Like I saw some money come in and push the total up to 175. Now I see it coming back down to 173.5. It's back to 174. So definitely shop around, figure out, what number you want here. I do see the spread moving towards the Aces. Looks like it's -3. I see a 3.5 just popped up as well. But it looks like consensus right now is -2.5 on most books. So this is good. This is an interesting game, man. It's always difficult for me to want to bet, against the Aces. It's always it should be difficult for anybody right now that likes making money to want to bet against the Liberty as well. So let's jump into this one. We got a second game back of the Olympic break for the Liberty, of course. They went to they went to LA, smoked the Sparks. I mean, that game was over with like first 3 minutes of the game. Kurt Miller called the timeout. It didn't help. Like he could have used all his timeouts for the full game. It was quiet for him. They really didn't have a chance. And the Liberty, before I get ahead of myself, I think the only person on the injury report is Benaji Laney-Hamilton. She will be out in this game. And on the Aces side, I think everybody is projected to be in outside of Katie Martin. I think she's done for the season. I don't see her name listed on the injury report that I'm looking at, but I'm pretty sure she will not be playing the rest of this season. So first game back for the Aces, of course, they had, three of their I think 4 of their players, because George off the bench was also representing her team as well. But we know that, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, and Asia Wilson all represented the United States, in Olympic basketball. And then on the Liberty side, same thing. Like they had a bunch of players. Not that it mattered in that first game back, but they had a bunch of players as well. I won't go into all of them, but they had 5, I think it was 5+ players participate in the Olympics as well, especially when you mentioned Coach Sandy Brondello, who coached the Australian team as well. The Liberty are good, man. Outside of them being the number 1 team in the WNBA right now, they're 22-5 straight up, only 13-14 against the number. But on the road, I think they're the best team in the WNBA, 10-3 straight up, 9-4 against the number. They've already come to Las Vegas and beat the Aces on their home floor. So this will be the second meeting of the season. That first game, they were getting 2.5 points, very similar line in that meeting. That was back on June the 15th. They won that game 90-82. and it went under the total, which is very similar to today's total at 174.5. They won the game 90-82, so it went under by 2.5 points. You guys can see all the numbers in all these graphics are updated. Just sticking with the Liberty right now. Number 3 in offensive rating the last 5 games, number 1 in defensive rating, and number 1 in net rating. Really, really difficult for me to be like, yo, you know what? I think I want to fade the Liberty right now. That's just not something that I really want to do. The Aces, on the other hand, 16-8 straight up, 10-13-1 against the number, 8-5 at the crib, 6-7 against the number. And they picked it up defensively as well. Going before the All-Star break, they were laying, 13, 14 points, ended up losing that game outright to Chicago. That was the Kennedy Carter game. And I think, when I think about this game, man, I know that, I also need to mention this for the Aces. I don't know how much it really matters, but it is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Sparks coming to town tomorrow. And for whatever reason, they can't beat the Sparks. The Sparks have beaten them twice this season, covered both numbers. De'Erica Hamby filed that lawsuit against the Aces, and she always gets up for that game versus the Aces every single time. And now that the lawsuit's in play, I don't think that she's about to, let up, especially with her coming into Las Vegas at that tomorrow. So for whatever it's worth, they do, have that. The Aces do have the Sparks on deck, and we'll talk about the Sparks because they're part of the last game as well. Excuse me. I strongly lean towards the New York Liberty, either plus the points in this game or taking their team total to go up and over. Somebody mentioned it in the chat earlier, and I already had it written down in my notes as well. 86.5 is the number that I saw. I'll wait and kind of see what's going on, where the total goes. It's not just that they're the best defensive team in the WNBA, but they also I think the Liberty are the best team in the WNBA. I'll come out and say that right now. They just have so much depth, and they don't always put it together. Granted, they're 2-11 against the spread when they're laying double digits. But this isn't the game where they're laying double digits. This is a game where they're dog. And they typically play well in Las Vegas as well. We go back to last season. You guys may remember Sabrina Ionescu, when her shoes had just dropped, somebody stole them out the gym, and she lit the Aces up after that. And I think that they just play well in Las Vegas for whatever reason. So I don't really want to trust this Aces defense against a team that can really, kind of fill it up. I do think that they'll be fired up and motivated for this game. But the Liberty scored 80 on them the last 2 times these teams played. And that's what the Liberty can do. They can really stretch the floor. They don't have a big weakness at all on their team. Great starting 5 with Jaquel Jones out there, Sabrina Ionescu. But also, I think they got the much better bench in this matchup as well. And that's even without Benaje Laney, because you got Phoebus coming off the bench. You got Kayla Thornton coming off the bench. Now you got Sabali coming back as well. This is a much more well-rounded team, in my opinion, whereas the Aces, especially without Katie Martin, they rely heavily on the services of Asia Wilson, who is, probably the MVP of the season. So strong lean towards the Liberty team total to go over 86.5. And I would be looking at them plus the points as well. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. I know that was a lot. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Yeah, so going back to this real quick. Yeah, Helms, Shakira Austin double-double. I talked about liking her rebounds. Her double-double is plus 525 on Bet365. I got that written down on my short list. Definitely think it's worth a sprinkle for sure. Danny says they could have won without the meltdown. Yeah, it's definitely could have won. GB says, give me the Aces money line, I think. Got to do more research, so he's not sure there. But he says since 2022, a team that is more rested, a team that has at least a day of rest, that's a home favorite, and previous home loss. I don't know how much I would take that into consideration, GB, just because that the last time they lost was such a long time ago. But I'll check it out real quick. Let's see what you got. So since 2022, so including 2022, you're rested and you're a home favorite, and you lost as a previous home loss, 61-16 straight up, 46-28-3 against the number, 86 to 76. Yeah, it's a long track record of wins here. 31 days of rest compared to one. It's so that's a crazy. That's crazy. Because it won't all rest, but yeah, I mean it's a nice trend. I don't know. I think a little differently on that one. Justin said Justin likes what I like. He says Liberty 84.5. I didn't see 84.5 though. I need to double check my numbers real quick. I saw 86.5, but maybe Justin got it in early. Let's see real quick. 85.5 right now is the number. Minus 115, so a little bit of juice over on BetMGM. It looks like it's the best number for the Liberty team total. That's the way I'm looking too. That way, I don't care if they win. I don't care if they lose. I do think that they can score the basketball though. I absolutely do. Dropping dimes like Liberty on the money line. Helm says might be a Liberty spot here. Why is it only -3? Aces at home. I mean, it's very similar to what the line was last time, huh? Like I said, the Liberty closed at, or the Aces closed at -2.5 in the last game, and they ended up losing that game by 8 points. Ball Talk likes the Aces -2.5. He says it's a lot. Then he says, I think people high on the Liberty after how they smacked the Sparks. So here's where I disagree, Danny. People, you may look at that game and say, damn, they blew the Sparks out. Like that was easy. But this is what they've been doing like for a long time, right? So I think, you take that game out of consideration, right? And let's just look at the Liberty in general. The Liberty, I know that they're 8-2, straight up 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games, including 5-0 straight up, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5. Like I said, it's just really difficult to bet against the team. They're the best team in the WNBA right now. But before the All-Star break, they granted they beat the Sparks. They beat them by what, like 50 almost, like 40 something, 30. I think it was, to be official, I think it was like 35. But 35. But they beat the Sun by 8. And that was the game without Stewie. She rested before the break. They beat the Sky by 14. They beat the Sky by 15. They beat the Sun by 3. So if you take that Fever game out, like they haven't lost a game since they lost to the Lynx in the Commissioner's Cup game, and that was on June the 25th. So yeah, I mean it's been a long time since they lost a meaningful basketball game outside of the one to the Fever. And the team total at 80, what did I say, 84.5, 85.5. They've gone over only 2 times, but they also just don't need to score that many points because their defense has been really good. They've held their opponent under their team total in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8 games since that Commissioner's Cup game. Only team that went over was the Fever. They went over by 1 point. So that makes me think Aces. That makes me think more Aces team total under. But I think the Liberty can score the basketball today. I'll leave it at that. But it's much more than them just smacking the Sparks, in my opinion. Ball Talk says Jackie Young can contain Sabrina. Dropping Dime says watching Plum and Gray on defense in the Olympics told me the Aces will not repeat. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be difficult, man. Mark says I have Liberty first half +1 and first half under 88.5. Okay. She says Liberty won away versus Aces earlier this season, but it was without Chelsea Gray. Does that make a significant difference? I do think it makes a difference. I can't talk you off of that. I mean, she makes a tremendous impact. And we'll see how well she plays. She didn't look great in the Olympics. She had a couple, really good passes. She had a couple really good games, but when the rubber really met the road, she was on the bench for a large part of that championship game against France. Danny says Liberty forward Hamilton, being out is crucial. I mean, they've been playing great without her. Last couple games they played without her. Asia over her rebounds, Juan says. She's been killing the rebounds, so I couldn't talk you off. They are, especially Kelsey Plum. She's not looked great on defense throughout the season. We go back to that last game they played against Chicago. She was the one that was on skates. Like she had to guard Kennedy Carter. Didn't go well for her. Just go back and check the box scores. Derek says maybe the Aces were checked out when they played Chicago before the break, but I can't forget about the hurt the Aces put on me. Liberty looked strong, and I want to see Las Vegas flip the switch. They'll have to flip the switch in this game, in my opinion. But to this point, real quick, Derek, I want to say, so if you guys remember back to when the Aces were really struggling at the beginning of the season before Kelsey, before Jack, before Gray came back. I think it was the game that they lost to the Liberty when Asia was crying at the podium. So maybe that's something. They could potentially have this game circled because they, it's a time for them to really prove themselves. But I'm still not laying points with them. Those are just my thoughts. Let's see. Helm says they've been cones while they won championships too. Yeah, but they're a little bit older, Helms, and you got to think the Liberty gonna be a little bit more hungry than coming off. I always like to bet on the dog that's really, really good. The Liberty, that was, last year was their first year all being together too. So now you get a little bit more chemistry, camaraderie there, a little bit more trust within the system and the players, the coaching staff. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's see. Livs been strong as underdogs, Mark says. Let's see. That's something I didn't look into. Liberty, when they've been a dog this season, they are 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread. Right. Dogs against the Aces, dogs against the Sun. Won both games. And over their team total in both games as well. So it makes me feel better about the 85.5. Let's see. Derek says nobody is sweating the Sparks minus their 2 starting point guards. Eric McDonald and Lazy Clarendon. Chad says Liberty are rolling for sure. Would like Laney in there, but can only look at Liberty. So we're in agreement there, Chad. And Gray isn't getting any younger. That's my point too, driving down. I mean, she already bow-legged. She walked like Kenny Smith when he going to the board. She I love Gray, but she man, if that jump shot's not falling from mid-range, and they're not playing really good defense so that they can get out and run in transition, she can look a little different at times, man. And that's not a shot to her. It's just the observation. Just the observation. Just the observation. Let's see. Helm says, damn, the disrespect to the point guard, saying she gonna drop off like Courtney Vandersloot. It ain't that level though. It ain't that level, Helms. Courtney Vandersloot with the way that the Liberty have just acquired, so much talent, man, with getting Phoebus and Doka in there, like, bruh, like this fever, like and that's what I mean, like, and that's another reason why I kind of like I'm just talking it out, but that's another reason why I like this Liberty team so much, because in my opinion, they're much deeper. Even without Benaja Laney there, they're still much deeper, than the Liberty are. The Liberty, I'm sorry, than the Aces are. The Aces can't go that deep into their bench, in my opinion. Becky Hammond she don't trust her players anyway. But like I said, I love Kayla Thornton. You got Birch off the bench, Sabali, Dorkic off the bench. Like, they got some players that can fill it up. I think probably the best bench in the WNBA that nobody's talking about. Jay Arias says Chelsea Gray run like she got gout. Oh man, that's funny, bro. Gout ain't nothing to play with. My brother had gout before. Big Marv says Stewie rebounds 10 or Asia 10. Potentially both. I would need to look a little bit more into it for sure. Derek says I can remember when the Aces were trying to play D for a minute. I think with only 14 games left, they start to turn it up on the defensive end. And I agree with that. I think, I kind of want to be contrarian and go towards the under for the full game. But like I said, I also like the Liberty to go up and over their team total to kind of stay away from the spread. So if I want to take the full game under, I also like I would probably split it and go Liberty, plus the points too. Because that way, even if it's a high scoring game or a low scoring game, I just expect the Liberty to be in the game. So that's my thoughts. Young Man Travel says Aces defense has shown they can't be trusted, grabbing New York team total over and taking the points, I think is what he means here. Helm says, anyone know what time the game starts today? I'm on the road right now. This game starts at 4 p.m., Helms, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So definitely got some time before this one starts, 4 p.m. Eastern. Zell says, thoughts on Asia rebounds. She was killing the glass pre-All-Star Olympic break. But this high total kind of scaring me off a little bit. Yeah, I mean, the book's not going to give you a discount. They're definitely not going to give you a discount. Asia is, second in the WNBA in rebounds per game, behind only what's the girl name that played for Chicago? Angel Reese, right behind Angel Reese. I think it's like tick for tat too. At that, Asia rebounds listed at 11.5 right now. If you think that, I think it's correlated. If you think that Ace is going to play defense, then you probably want to take her rebounds to go over. But that's not something that I'm looking at. Let's see real quick. Let's go back to just real quickly on that note, and then I'll get through the rest of the comments. We'll move on to the last game, but it's only 3, so we can take our time. All right. So in that first game when they played earlier this season, Asia had 21 points and 9 rebounds. Kia Stokes actually had 12 rebounds in that game. And the Liberty shot 48.5% from the field, 43% from the 3-point line. You would think that would be some regression there. And like I said, this is the game without Chelsea Gray, so Kia Stokes did start in her spot. Alicia Clark also started in her spot as was in the starting rotation, I should say. Jackie Young only had 10 points on 4 for 12 shooting. She shot 2 for 9 from the 3-point line. The Liberty held the Aces to only 32% shooting from the 3-point line, 45% for the full game, and held them to 82 points, which was under their team total for the full game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of, I don't know. So, like I said, I think if you like the Aces to play defense, you definitely like the rebounds to go over for Asia. I don't know how good the Aces defense is going to be, though. I do know she's the better rebounder. And last thing I want to mention about Asia, just kind of popped in my mind because I was watching some highlight reels earlier this morning. Sandy Brondello and the Liberty coaching staff, I think they're going to do a really good job. Asia's going to be matched up on Jacko Jones, of course. I think they're going to do a really good job of moving Asia out of the paint, because Jacko she's a really good passer, really good facilitator of the basketball, and she can operate on the wing. She can operate, at the 3-point line. So they're probably going to try to pull Asia away from the rim, so that they can attack the rim with, some of their guards, but also just so Asia can't get, as many rebounds. I think that would lead to her getting a few less rebounds. So I don't really like Asia rebounds over, I think, as the more I kind of talk it out. All right, let's go. I know I'm talking a lot, but like I said, it's only a couple games. Kilo says Aces might want to send a message to the Liberty. I like the -3 with this one. They could. It is an Aces revenge spot. It is an Aces revenge spot, Christian. But it's difficult to want to fade the Liberty, though. It really, really is. Let's see how good the Aces have been in revenge spots so far this season. Aces are 3-1 straight up, 1-3 against the number in revenge spots so far this season. Beat the Mercury by 4, didn't cover. Beat the Storm by 11 and did cover. I remember that game. And then they beat lost to the Sparks in the revenge game, and beat the Dream. They lost to the Dream? Yeah, they did beat the Dream. The Dream did beat them. And then they beat the Dream in Atlanta and didn't cover that spread by half a point. They were laying 14.5, ended up winning by 14. So they have been pretty good. They're 3-1 to the over. 3-1 straight up, but only 1-3 against the number. But you're not asking them to really, cover a big number in this spot. It's only, one possession game. So yeah, it is an Aces revenge spot, Christian. Let's see. I'm excited to watch this one too, Holmes. Kind of why I don't really want to put a pre-game bet in. I kind of want to see how things shake out and then bet on what I think is going to happen. So we'll see how it goes. SRT says Liberty gonna win this game by 5. Just remember I said that. Okay. We'll see how that goes. PZ says he's also leaning money line for the Liberty. What up? Appreciate you as well. Chad says wish we could bet points scored against specific players at the primary defender. Vander Grandma is a cone out there. Oh man, there's a couple cones out there though, Chad. Definitely a couple cones out there, but Vander Grandma is crazy. Then he says Vander Grandma is crazy. Aces may fall to the rusty trend coming back after the All-Star Olympic break. We'll see how that goes. Truth System says if Chelsea Gray is the point guard, then Caitlin Clark is the Point Baptist. Man, Caitlin Clark is really good at basketball. I know she got the Phoenix Mercury on the second leg of a back-to-back, but boy, the league belongs to Caitlin Clark, dog. I mean, maybe not in the moment, but it's quickly, the keys are being transitioned over. Caitlin Clark is absolutely amazing, man. No hate from me. I love Caitlin Clark. She is really, really good for the game. Really, really good for the game. That's all I'll say about that. Jay Arias says when Caitlin Clark gets a handle, she will be insane. Right now, she only got that hezzy, but she adds the counter. She'll be like Tyrese Halliburton, but with step jump shot. And she don't even be looking at how close she is to the 3-point line. She just be pulling up. Them joints don't touch nothing. Just right in the bottom of the rim. Net don't even move sometimes. It's crazy. Let's see. What else y'all saying in the chat? Hard to fade the Liberty. Mitchell says, I might just watch right there with you. Liberty first half plus the 1, Tyron says. Tyron says. Yeah, and I can see that as well. Another reason why we can kind of stay on this game and talk about it is because the last game is the Sky and the Sparks, man. Jesus Christmas, man. Like, what are we doing here? I know I want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole, and I think we just start with the injury report. You have Kennedy Carter, who is, I think, officially listed as questionable. She, of course, missed the game the other day, cost us some money. It was a non-COVID related illness, is what held her out of that game. I'm not sure if she plays today. If she does play, I think you got to look at the Sparks. I think you got to look at Chicago. For whatever reason, and I talked about this the other day as well, Chicago just really, really struggles at home. For whatever reason, they play better on the road. Their win against the Liberty earlier this season came, of course, in New York. Their loss came at home. They beat the Aces in Las Vegas. They, of course, get smoked against the Aces in Chicago. And you see it, the same thing with the Mercury. The Mercury came in, smoked them. Now, granted, we still got to assess this team, without having Marina Mabry there. I want to say they shot like 4 for 19 from the 3-point line the other day. They were god awful. Michelle Onyenwere, I thought that she would come in, and play big minutes and play a big role for Chicago. But they literally couldn't score the basketball. Without Marina Mabry there, if you don't get some 3-point shooting and Rachel Branham not making shots, especially if Kennedy Carter's not playing, you're talking about a very low scoring game because Chicago just can't. They're not going to be able to score the basketball, in my opinion. So they'll need to play a lot better. I think that they are, of course, the better team between, them and the Sparks as well. And that Sparks performance was just god awful. Like, for them to get smoked as bad as they did, like, at least the Chicago Sky kind of had, they get a little bit of a pass, in my opinion, as I just kind of talk it out. Because the Chicago Sky was without their, best player, Kennedy Carter, also traded away probably their second or third best player, depending on where you want to rank her, amongst, Angel Reese. But the Sparks, granted they were without Ari McDonald and Lexi Brown, and Talbot was out as well. But I didn't expect them to look that bad. They looked really, really terrible, and it was from the start. They didn't have enough, Olympic players. I don't know what Kurt Miller said to the team, but they didn't have enough for that to be. They weren't missing enough for that to be the end result of that game. They just looked really, really bad. So both of the teams, of course, that is not correct. Hold on. So this should say second game it's the second game for both of these teams. Of course, they both played on Thursday night. So second game for both teams. Like I said, the Sky are still by far the more superior team. You can get them on the money line. You should be able to get them on the money line. At a, it's a -2 right now, so it shouldn't be too much juice there. I still can't play the Sky though. I can't play the Sky without knowing Kennedy Carter, if she's going to play or not. I'm just trying to do the math real quick. All of the numbers you guys can see are updated though. The Sky offense, last 5 games, bottom 3, defensively, kind of middle of the pack. net rating bottom 4 as well. And the same thing for the Sparks. Offensively, they struggle. Defensively, they struggle. Net rating is also second worst in the WNBA. So it'd be Sky, of course, for me, or nothing. But I can't quite get there. I can't quite get there, not knowing that, whether Kennedy Carter's going to play or not. She means a lot for me in this game, in my opinion. Let's go through the comments real quick. And I do want to kind of, let me just match the teams up on paper real quick. I do want to see if there are some advantages for Chicago, like rebounding, anything that just like jumps out to me real quick. So let's just look at that really, really quickly. So last 5 games specifically, which is really, really difficult to look at because you got one without Kennedy Carter. You got all the rest of the games will have Marina Mabrey in it. So it's really difficult to look there. But the Sky have been the 4th best offensive rebounding team, 1st best defensive rebounding team, 1st number 1 in rebounding. But the Sparks aren't too bad. They're 6th in rebounds allowed. So they're not too bad in that department. Sky, of course, really struggle to shoot the 3-point ball. Sparks also struggle to defend the 3-point shot. Actually, the second worst in opponent 3-point field goal percentage above the break, allowing teams to shoot almost 40%. But Chicago can't shoot the ball from 3. Points in the paint, Chicago's 2nd. Last 5 games, Sparks are giving up the 3rd most points in the paint at 38 per game. Okay, yeah, I can't really find anything. I really don't care about this game either. I'm not betting it. But if I had to, it would be Sky. They need to win, just for seeding as well. Let's see real quick. Updated seeding numbers. So the Sky are in last place. They have the last playoff spot right now, is what I should say. And with them losing and getting smoked like they did to the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever winning yesterday, the Fever are a full game above them in the standings. And with Atlanta winning last night and beating Seattle, upsetting Seattle, they're actually 2 games behind the Chicago Sky. So Chicago should be, we got like a little less than a month left, I think, in the regular season. But Chicago Sky should, they should feel some pressure to win this game. The Sparks, the Mystics, and the Wings are cooked. I think only the Dream have a chance to actually make the playoffs. They'll be competing with Chicago Sky, of course. We still got the deadline, which hasn't passed yet either. All right, let's go through the chat real quick, see what you guys are thinking about this one. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for too. He says looking for more live bet-ish. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as well. Mark says the Sparks suck, and I agree. She says I'm on the Sparks if she doesn't play. So he thinks that Sparks have a chance to win this one. Also, like I said, got to mention, and I failed to mention this, both of these teams on the first leg of a back-to-back. I talked about Chicago having I talked about the Sparks having to travel to Vegas tomorrow. But Chicago also on the first leg of a back-to-back, they actually got the Mercury tomorrow. So I don't know, probably we'll see how it goes. But I think that's interesting to note with both of these teams being on the first leg of a back-to-back. And I don't know if I mentioned this either, but Lexi Brown, Ari McDonald, and Lasia Clarendon are all listed as out. Lasia Clarendon is going to miss the game for mental health reasons. And Stephanie Talbot is off the injury report after missing the game the other day. I forgot to mention that. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. Danny says, I think this one's simple. Kennedy Carter in Sky if they play. Zell says Rakia Jackson over her 12.5 points. Books keep sleeping on her. I think she did go over in the last game, one of the bright spots that they had. Chad says if Carter plays, we'll try Sky, but if not, staying off. Both offenses are horrible. That needs to be in capital letters, Chad. Right there with you for sure. If no Mabrey, no Carter, no buckets, LA on the money line, young man Travel says. Mark says he got the Sky -2. Dropping dimes as whether Carter plays or not. I'm looking at Sky team total under 80.5. Jesus, best of luck dropping dimes. I get what you're saying, but that Sparks defense is not anything close to being great at all. Defensively, they are 10th in defensive rating over the last 5 games, 10th in defensive rating over the full season. Allowing opponents to shoot 54%, which is the second worst over the last 5 games, and over the full season, second worst as well. They're a young team. They can't, and they like to play fast. Sometimes they like to play slow. I can't get there, but I understand. Definitely understand. Christian says Carter plays, take Sky in the over. What you think? I'm not looking towards the over. Not the way these offenses look. But if she does play, I do think Kennedy Carter helps a lot. I think they should be able to dominate, on the rebounds, and they just got a lot more to play for. So I think you got to take that into the cap. Like I said, with the Storm losing last night to the Atlanta Dream, I just looked at it. The Dream only 2 games behind the Chicago team. So Chicago, this is a game in my opinion, it's almost like a must-win game because you're probably not beating the Mercury tomorrow. Being at the rest disadvantage. So we'll see how it goes. What up, Rob? Appreciate you for tapping in. Sky are doomed. Their primary objective of ball is to put the ball in the hoop. Sky can't score. Likes the Sparks. Okay. A lot of back and forth in this game, and I honestly could care less. This ain't the game that I'm probably gonna be betting. Coach Miller might be off with them drugs, but man, can develop versatile bigs. De'Erica Hamby is good. She might be saving some for tomorrow versus the Aces too. I already mentioned she got the Aces tomorrow, and she'll be back in Vegas. So we'll see how that goes. True System says the Sky is drama and turmoil. The Sparks are just bad. So he says I'll take bad. Take the points with the Sparks. Okay. So a lot of different opinions here. Pushing says Angel Reese double and Sky to win, which I think if Kennedy Carter plays. I can't take the Sky without Kennedy Carter, and that's even against the Sparks. They just you expect them to put together a little something. But I mentioned the Mercury not being a great defensive team. They couldn't even stop the Mercury. They couldn't even score against the Mercury the other day. So I'm off this game, man. But we'll see what happens with Kennedy Carter. All right, so let's jump into a quick recap. I don't have anything here because, like I said, I haven't bet anything. But let's go back to the first game. Shakira Austin. Well, let's go team first. It would be Washington first half. Like I said, you can get a +3.5 on DraftKings. Was the best number when we talked about it. Shakira Austin, up and over her. I think it was. I know it was 6.5 rebounds. -140, but I think her minutes goes up. She only played 20 minutes in the first game back the other day. And I think that continues to go up. She's not on the injury report today. Her double-double is +525. As I think it might have been Dropping Dime shouted out earlier on Bet 365. I'm a sprinkle on it. I got to. She missed about 1 point in her last game, in the game that they just played the other day. So no way I could talk anybody off that. The other look was the Lynx second half spread -2.5. I don't know if I'm gonna get there with that, but it makes a lot of sense if we think that the Aces. If we think that the Mystics gonna play really, really well in the first half and kind of fade like they always do, and it makes sense because Shakira Austin and Brittany Sykes only playing in their second game back. Same thing with Carly Samuelson, that they fade kind of towards the end of the game. So those 3 plays, I think, from that game. As far as the Aces and the Liberty, New York, like I said, team total over 84, 80, was it? Hold on, I want to make sure I give you guys the right number. I think it was 85.5. Let's see. Yeah, 85.5 is the number. Over 85.5. I just think they're going to be able to score the basketball against the Aces. And that's the way I'd be looking for the spread as well. I do think that I think the Aces can compete. I think the Liberty can compete. Like I said, they're 2-0 against the numbers so far as the dog this season. Right now, the best number you can get is It's probably a +3 out there somewhere. Wow, you actually can get a +3.5. New York +3.5. That number is available in a lot of different places. Looks like Caesars has the best number, only 5 cents a juice over there. And then I'm not touching Chicago and Los Angeles, but you can get Chicago -1.5 at -115 for anybody who didn't even want to lay the 2 points. Yeah, you can get a 1.5 on ESPN bet for anybody interested in Chicago. I'm not taking that, but yeah, these are the ways that I'm looking. Maybe I haven't really evaluated too many player props. I think the Shakira Austin one just kind of jumped out to me, and I think that her numbers continue to go up. Like I don't think if she gets 7 rebounds today, I don't think we'll see a 6.5. I think we'll see a 7.5, and it'll for next game. So yeah, this is ways I'm kind of thinking about the game, man. Hopefully you guys found some of the what we were talking about throughout the chat helpful. I always like to shout out the resources that I use to handicap the game. I mentioned Moneyballer at the top of the show, but also want to shout them out again. There is a 10% coupon code if you guys are interested in signing up and using their sports betting platform. Real comprehensive website that shows you all the stats, all the trends, everything pretty much. One-stop shop to be able to sports bet and handicap WNBA, NBA, NFL is going to be on there as well. MLB is also already there. They do a really good job over there. So shout out to my guy RC and his team for putting that together. Like I said, the coupon code is in the description if you guys are interested. As always, the show is sponsored by OddsJam. I mentioned them, best sports betting software in the world, in my opinion. Just the one-stop shop for finding the best odds. I always get on the show and give you guys the best odds, but after the show, ends, or if I'm looking at some live line or whatever the case might be, some injury news comes out, like I'm always just jumping straight to OddsJam. I probably on OddsJam more than I use Google, if I'm being honest with you guys, because I'm always looking at lines to compare lines. So shout out to OddsJam as always. If you guys found the show helpful, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share the show if you guys are new. If you guys are new, also subscribe to the channel. We're live every single day that we have an NBA game or NFL game. The grind picks back up. We went 2-1 yesterday, so hopefully we can keep trending in the right direction. I'll do another video. I'll be on with my guy Kyle at 11 a.m. Kyle Kerms on his YouTube channel. Probably have some of these plays locked in and be a little bit more official with him, but really just wanted to talk about with you guys on the show for today. And then I'll also be doing an NFL show today as well. So if you guys are interested, definitely go back and check out the AFC West video, but we'll go NFC West today as well. I'll do that video and post it a little later for you guys. So definitely come through and join the chat if you guys are interested. As always, bet responsibly. Best of luck on all your action. Enjoy the games, and I will catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.